Today on Histopedia, we're diving into one of the boldest gambles in history, a decision that reshaped America and set it on a path to becoming a world power. On April 30th, 1803, the United States made a choice that would nearly double its territory. But how did this epic transaction even come about? Why would Napoleon Bonaparte, Europe's most ambitious ruler, sell such valuable land? And how did the American government even afford this enormous expansion while struggling financially? This is the story of the Louisiana Purchase, a real estate deal that literally changed the map of North America forever. In the early 1800s, the US was just a fledgling republic, hugging the Atlantic coast with around 5 million people. Most Americans lived near the coast, and only a handful dared to venture west. Beyond the Appalachian Mountains lay vast, unexplored lands controlled by powerful Native American tribes, but Americans were already dreaming of something more: westward expansion. This vision would eventually be known as Manifest Destiny, the belief that the U.S. was meant to expand across the continent. But to achieve that dream, they needed one thing: control over the Mississippi River. Why the Mississippi? It was the lifeline of the new nation, essential for transporting goods from the Midwest to New Orleans and out to the world. Control over this river wasn't just important, it was critical for survival. As more Americans settled west, tensions over New Orleans grew. Spain, who originally controlled the territory, had granted the U.S. access to New Orleans in the 1795 Treaty of San Lorenzo, but in a secret deal, Spain gave Louisiana back to France in 1800. This raised fears that Napoleon might cut off American trade routes. In 1802, the nightmare came true. France pressured Spain to revoke America's access to New Orleans, sending shockwaves through the U.S. economy and pushing the nation toward a diplomatic crisis. President Thomas Jefferson was stuck in a bind. He knew how crucial New Orleans was, but didn't want to provoke a war with France, especially with America so unprepared. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, France was in turmoil. Napoleon Bonaparte, fresh from seizing power, dreamed of an American empire that stretched from the Mississippi to the Rockies. But there was a problem. France's resources were drained by wars in Europe and a devastating slave-led revolution in Haiti. Haiti, once France's wealthiest colony, was rebelling, and France was pouring resources into the Caribbean with little success. With his resources stretched thin, Napoleon's grand American vision began to crumble. By 1803, he made a radical decision to sell Louisiana to the United States, gain funds, and focus on his ambitions in Europe. Back in the US, President Jefferson was paying close attention. When Spain cut off access to the Mississippi, he knew he had to act fast. Despite his belief in a frugal government, Jefferson understood the significance of the Mississippi River, so he sent diplomats, including James Monroe, to France. Their mission: negotiate the purchase of New Orleans. But when they arrived, they got the surprise of a lifetime. Napoleon's advisors proposed selling the entire Louisiana territory, an area of 828,000 square miles, for just $15 million. This was huge, but Monroe and his team faced a tough decision. They didn't have the full authority to agree to such a massive purchase. Should they risk it? Was it worth risking controversy back home? The $15 million was a steep price, but the opportunity to double the size of the United States was just too great. Finally, the diplomats agreed. Jefferson presented the treaty to Congress in October 1803. Despite some opposition about whether this purchase was even constitutional, it was approved. The Louisiana Purchase was finalized, marking the beginning of a new era of American expansion. With this acquisition, the U.S. gained vast lands filled with untapped resources, from dense forests to fertile farmland, perfect for fueling America's growth. Thousands of settlers surged westward, inspired by limitless possibilities. But this expansion came at a huge cost. For Native American tribes, it brought relentless pressure and devastating consequences. Treaties were made and broken, and entire communities were forced from their lands, facing a grim reality. The Louisiana Purchase sent shockwaves around the world. Now the U.S. was a massive, resource-rich nation, bordering British Canada and Spanish territories. European powers watched anxiously, sensing that the balance of power in North America was shifting. As America expanded west, it gained lands that would fuel its economy, drive the Industrial Revolution, and transform it into an agricultural and industrial giant. This land laid the foundation for cities, industries, and wealth that would allow the U.S. to compete on the world stage. But the legacy of the Louisiana Purchase is complex. For American settlers, it symbolized opportunity. For Native nations, it meant hardship, displacement, and cultural loss. Today, this moment serves as a reminder of the ambition and challenges of expansion, the cost of power, and the responsibility that comes with it. In the end, the Louisiana Purchase was more than just a land deal. It was a bold move that forever changed the young republic's destiny. It marked the beginning of America's rise to global power and showed the world the impact of taking risks. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next time here on Histopedia for more history videos.